Welcome to the Spellbinders June 2026 Stencil of the Month Club called Plumeria Spray. This month, there are 5 layering stencils that create a bunch of Plumeria flowers. Let's use this month's Stencil of the Month to create a card. Start with a smooth piece of white cardstock cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. Use a piece of Spellbinders Best Ever craft tape and roll it up to hold the cardstock onto a protected work surface. Start with the stencil labeled 1 and use the corner guides to line the stencil up on the cardstock. Hold the stencil in place with more pieces of Best Ever craft tape. The first stencil creates the large leaves. You will use another green on a different stencil, so start with a lighter green, like the Hero Arts Key Lime Fizz Reactive Ink. Using a Spellbinders blending brush, add ink to the brush and then lightly blend on top of the stencil. Start with a light amount of pressure and continue to add pressure to add more ink as you see fit. Once the stencil is covered, grab one corner of the stencil and carefully peel it back to reveal the first part of the image. Line up the second stencil just like the first and temporarily adhere it down with Best Ever craft tape. This stencil starts to build up the flowers. Again, use a Spellbinders blending brush and your favorite pink ink to create the flowers. Once the stencil is covered, peel back one corner and reveal the beginning of the flowers. Line up the third stencil and adhere it down to the cardstock as before. This stencil creates an inner layer on the flowers. You can add a nice orange color like Hero Arts Creamsicle Reactive Ink. Use the Spellbinders blending brush to add a little ink at a time until the color is as dark as you like. Peel back the corner, and now you can see how the stenciling is really coming together. Line up the fourth stencil and adhere it down. Then use Hero Arts Fruit Punch Reactive Ink. Blend this ink on the stencil to add an outline on the flowers. Once the stencil is covered, peel back one corner of the stencil. Line up the fifth stencil on the cardstock. This stencil covers the flower centers and the veins of the leaves. Starting with the flower centers, use Hero Arts Lemon Drop Reactive Ink. The bright, happy colors of the reactive inks create a fun, summery image. Use the Hero Arts Green Apple Reactive Ink for the veins on the leaves. To avoid getting green ink on the flower centers, try a smaller brush, like the Spellbinders Mini Blending Brushes pack. Remove this final stencil to see the pretty floral design. Use a rectangle die or a trimmer to cut down the image. If using a die, hold the die in place with Spellbinders Best Ever craft tape and run through the platinum machine. Flip the stenciled panel over and add Spellbinders tape runner to the back. Adhere the panel down to an A2 piece of carrot cardstock die cut with the linear touch rectangles and tag etched dies, which is adhered to a top folding A2 card base. Use Color Essentials gems to add a bit of sparkle and shine to the flower centers. The Color Essentials gems come with 4 sizes of gems in one set, so you can use different sizes of gems on the different sizes of flowers. Stamp, heat emboss, and die cut a sentiment from this month's Clear Stamp and Die of the Month, then add a couple of foam squares to the back of that sentiment. Adhere the sentiment to the panel in the open space near the top of the card. Thank you for choosing Spellbinders Club Kits. Happy crafting!